the Sabbath, a constant consciousness that I depend on Him for life, breath, and all things, according to Paul in Acts 17, verse 24-25. He giveth to all breath and life and all things. In Him we live and move and have our being. That is dependence. Notice, in Him we live and move, have our being. For this thing just to exist, God is involved.
Yes. Amen.
Did you hear me?
Amen.
There's life, but then there's existence. Existence means you're just present. Let's say somebody dies, and the person is in the mortuary. Is the person alive?
No.
But is the person existing as a corpse?
Existing.
Yes. You can see the corpse. That's existence. That's not life. And even existence depends upon God.
Yes.
The Sabbath principle is, I live and exist because of Him.
Yes. Amen.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's the Sabbath principle. Now, you visitors, excuse me, I talk about my own people very badly. The Adventists. We do more damage to the Sabbath than anybody else. We keep the Sabbath day, we don't keep the Sabbath principle. Because this is the way we think. The sun set, the Sabbath is gone. But the Sabbath principle never sets. Now, today's what? According to the Bible, this is not Sabbath. Sabbath is a day. But aren't you dependent on God for life where you sit?
Amen.
That's the Sabbath principle.
Amen.
You going to jump in your car, go home tonight?
Yes.
Who gave you the money to get the car? Deuteronomy 8:18. Thou shalt remember the Lord thy God. It is He that giveth thee power to get wealth to buy a car.
Yes. Amen. Yes.
You see these half-deads in there, don't you? Come on, say amen, somebody.
Amen.
You don't like what I'm saying.
No, we do.
Or is it too new for you?
Yeah, it's too good.
Very smart lady said it's too good. Listen to me carefully. During the week, Monday through Friday, we're working, we earn money. As I said, if we're in high positions, we tell people what to do, we shove people around. We do what we do. We drive home, drive in our cars, go to our homes, go to our country club. And when you do that all the time, it's easy to think, I am the man. Are you with me? Yes. Or I am the woman. Huh? Nebuchadnezzar, royal thinking, but wrong.
Amen.
When you live by the Sabbath principle of dependence, it is with you Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sabbath.
Amen.
The Sabbath principle states, I am dependent on God for everything.
Amen.
It never sets. The day sets, not the principle.
Amen.
The Sabbath reminds us that God is creator. If we're dependent on creator. And who is the creator? Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And He gave us the Sabbath day to remember it is He, centrally, who is responsible for this.
Amen.
Christ, the one who died on that cross, was in that grave, lived like you and I live, resisted sin, fought with sin, overcame by the power of His Father, the one who feels what we feel, who lived sinlessly, died, rose triumphantly, is now the priest interceding on our behalf. It is He that did this, and it is He that instituted the principle of dependence. So all during the week we must be conscious of the fact it is by the sustaining power of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And that is the principle of the Sabbath. That's not the Sunday principle. Sunday doesn't have a principle. Because people work on Sundays. They go to the ball games on Sunday. They go to the casino on Sunday. They leave the church and go to the gambling den on Sunday. They leave the church and go play whatever on Sunday. But the Sabbath, that's when you stop everything. Simply, you take one day to say, let me stop working. And without any distraction, focus on the fact that all things come of Thee, and of Thine own have we given Thee. Satan has attacked, give me the other slide, please, Brother Christian. Satan knows that. He has attacked this commandment more than any other. Because this is the commandment that expresses dependence upon God.
Amen.
This is the commandment that binds this table to that table. If you listen carefully, the commandment says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Now the Sabbath says, treat your animals well. You're not listening to me. So the Sabbath connects you to this table and that table. It is through Sabbath that we show love for God and man in one shot.
Amen.
The Sabbath says, your manservant, your maidservant, you have servants, you have slaves, you got to remember God made them. You can't overwork them. It affects how you live on this earth as you recognize God as, the more clearly you recognize God for who He is, the better you treat people. That's the Sabbath. Now the rest of you, you're not getting what I'm saying. Let me say it again. The more clearly you understand God's role as creator, particularly the Son, His role as sustainer, and that you're dependent upon Him for everything, and that He is the creator of the earth is His, the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein, then you're careful how you treat people.
Amen.
Sabbath principle improves human relations.
Yes. Amen.
Sabbath principle improves your health. You don't overwork yourself. 3 jobs, 7 days a week to buy a house or some car you saw somebody else with. This commandment contains the principle of dependence on God. And most of the world ignores this commandment completely.
Yeah.
When you ignore this, you ignore Him. I don't care what else you say.
Amen. Yes. Amen.
God gave that commandment that we may recognize Him 7 days a week. Because the commandment does not just have a day, it has a principle. And the principle outlives the day every week.
Amen.
Do you only love on Sabbath?
No.
Do you love 7 days a week? Yes. Your answers are feeble. Don't discourage me, I won't come back tomorrow. My brothers and sisters, have you understood what I'm trying to say?
Amen.
Yes.
Now, when Nebuchadnezzar said, is not this great Babylon that I have built? He was not functioning on the Sabbath principle. Because the Sabbath principle says, no, the cement belongs to God, the wood belongs to God, the tires belong to God, you know, whatever He used belongs to God. There's a story of a man who challenged God. He said, I'm as much God as you are. And God is patient with fools, He is. And God said, okay. The man said, I can prove it to you, let's have a competition. Okay, fine. God said, what do you have in mind? The man said, let's create something. Okay. The man bent down and got some dirt to make, and God said, get your own dirt. Are you with me? Get your own dirt, because you've never made anything that's my dirt that I made. Get your own dirt. Nebuchadnezzar needed to understand, is this not great Babylon I have built? Get your own cement, get your own tiles, get your own drywall, get your own wood. Create a tree and get your own wood. What do you mean this is great Babylon that I have built? No, I built it, says God, using you. Are you understanding me?
Amen.
My brothers and sisters, Jesus Christ, the Creator, gave us the Sabbath.
Amen.
He gave us a day, and He gave us a principle.
Amen.
And while the day is just 24 hours long, the principle is endless.
Amen.
The principle has functioned for thousands, millennia, we don't know how long, all the way in heaven. The instant anything was created, that principle started.
Amen.
Not only living people depend on God, inanimate objects depend on God. There was a storm on the sea. In Mark chapter 4, 37 to 41, I believe. Jesus awoke from a dream. He was sleeping at the end of a pillow, the hand part of the boat on the pillow, and he woke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. How does the wind recognize the voice of Christ? I don't know. How do the waves recognize the voice of Christ? I don't know. When Jesus spoke to the wind, he spoke to gas. Am I right?
Amen.
Come on, am I right? You can't see this.
Amen.
The gaseous form. When he spoke to the sea, he spoke to what?
Liquid.
Liquids. When he said, if you say to that mountain move, and he wasn't kidding, you would have been speaking to what? Solid. Solids, liquids, and gases respond to the commands of Christ. Somebody say amen. Because he is in charge.
That's right.
Now, solids obey God.
Yes.
Liquids obey God. Gases obey God. We don't obey God. And no solid was made in God's image. No liquid was made in God's image. No gas was made in God's image. We were made in his image. We don't obey him. The solids, liquids, and gases were not. They obey. How is God to take that? And why should he take it forever?
Amen.
He should.
So sometimes God gets sick to his stomach. So when Nebuchadnezzar flew up in his face, it's not this great Babylon that I have built. God had to make it an object lessons for all generations after that.
Amen.
Turned him into an animal for 7 years. Until he recognized God, the God of heaven and earth. And God has instituted a way to deal with royal but wrong thinking, and that is the Sabbath principle.
Amen.
Let me ask you a question. What's today?
Sunday.
When was the Sabbath?
Yesterday.
Are you a Sabbath keeper?
Yes.
Are you a Sabbath keeper on Sunday?
Yes.
Ah, you have to pause and think. Listen to me again. Are you a Sabbath keeper on Sunday?
Yes.
Are you a Sabbath keeper on Monday?
Yes.
On Tuesday?
Yes.
On Wednesday?
Yes.
On Thursday?
Yes.
On Friday?
Yes.
Surely on Sabbath.
Yes.
Now here's Tuesday, and you're going down, what's the supermarket called in Los Angeles? Ralph? Where are you going for Ralph's? Ralph? Well, whoever. John. Okay, John's supermarket. John. Most people have easy names like John and Randy. And so you go down the aisle with your, what's it called, a cart. And you come by the section of shrimp. How does a holy person act when he or she comes to shrimp?
Run away.
They pass it by. No, it's Tuesday, it's not the Sabbath. But are you a Sabbath keeper on Tuesday?
Yes.
Is the Sabbath a holy day?
Yes.
Are you dependent on God?
Yes.
Does God say don't eat certain things from the sea? Then the principle of dependence, God says don't eat it. I won't eat it, even though it's served in the White House, I am not eating it. And you pass right by. Huh? You come to the liquids area now, nice attractive bottles, very nice and curvaceous bottles with all kinds of nice smelling poison. And you come and you see your friends picking this one and that one and that one so they can walk like this later on that night. And you decide, am I a Sabbath keeper? Yes. Am I a holy person? Yes. Did God say wine is a mocker? Yes. Do I depend on him? Yes. I just right on by. The principle affects my life every day. And Satan wants this commandment got rid of. And we help him. Now let me ask you again. Are you really a Sabbath keeper?
Yes.
Or are you a day keeper? Listen to me. Keeping the Sabbath is not simply staying away from work.
Amen.
If that were the case, every unemployed person would be a Sabbath keeper. Are you with me? You're not with me? Every unemployed person is because the person is not at work. When Jesus says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. You can't give yourself Sabbath rest.
No.
If that were the case, Christ wouldn't say, I'll give you rest. What he gives, you can't give. Sabbath rest is a gift from God.
Amen.
When you're in church and your mind is on the office, you're not keeping the Sabbath. Waiting for the sun to set to get back to that pile of paper on your desk, you're not keeping the Sabbath. But when the Sabbath principle is with you 7 days a week, then you do your work in such a way on Monday that it doesn't pile up on Tuesday, doesn't affect Wednesday. You do your work in such a way because you keep thinking of that.